Hi everyone, my name is Helen Dion. I am Marketing Manager for SWK Technologies. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar, Understanding Trends in Human Capital Management for Better Recruitment and Retention, presented by Chris at Workforce Go. A little housekeeping before we get started. Everyone has been placed on mute to keep the background noise down. However, you can submit any questions you have throughout the webinar. To submit a question, look for the question section in your GoToWebinar window. We will answer all questions at the end of the presentation. We are recording the presentation and it will be distributed to everyone who has registered, whether or not they attended. Please take a moment at the end to take a short 2-question survey so we can get a better idea of what it is you're looking for and if SWK can help in any way. With that said, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to attend our webinar. We're here to help you get the most out of your software solutions and to help you find an easier way to run your business by providing you software and industry knowledge, tools, and support whenever you need it. We've invited Workforce Go to present today because their solution truly helps businesses improve their HR processes, everything from payroll to managing time and people. So whether you're searching for the best solution that fits your needs or you're just here to learn, we'd like to encourage you to ask any questions and provide feedback so we can continue to improve our webinar service. Lastly, as a quick reminder, SWK is constantly sharing important updates, software tips and tricks on our social media channels, so we encourage you to follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So with all of that said, I'll hand it over to Chris.
All right, perfect. And good day to everyone, and thank you for that introduction, and thank you everyone for the time today on our webinar. So as a reminder, my name is Chris Goheen with Workforce Go, and we are going to be discussing today what we like to refer to as managing the story of your people. Now, during our time today, there's a couple key objectives and topics that we're going to focus in on as we go through some information. And as we go through these topics and areas here, I ask everyone to consider and think about your internal organization today, the type of people that are within your workforce, and how you engage with them today, or how you manage a lot of their information and a lot of the details and engagement that they want to ask from you as working with your organization. But with that, we're going to address some areas talking about the key trends that are happening today in human capital management with our workforce and people out there. How engaged is your workforce, and questions you should be asking yourselves about how you engage with them and the solutions that you use. And then I want to specifically talk about Workforce Go and how we help organizations with managing the story of your people. Now, just a little bit of background on myself. I am the president with Workforce Go, and I've actually been in the human capital management industry for over 20 years now in a variety of different roles, whether that's working with organizations, reviewing what they do today and how best they can escalate the engagement they have with their team members, implementing new solutions, consulting on what those new solutions are, training organizations, and working with employee management myself and teams and individuals directly there. So a lot of background and a lot of foresight into what we're going to be talking about today. Also, as we go into this conversation, why this is so key and to heart here for us at Workforce Go is that we believe day in and day out that great businesses are powered by great people. And in order to be a great business, you need to create and manage a very engaged workforce. So here at Workforce Go and partnering with SWK, we deliver workforce solutions that are purpose-built for your industry and, more importantly, all of your different people, whether those are hourly, salary, part-time, full-time, seasonal, or contractor related individuals. They all have different levels of engagement, different information, and different management that we need to offer for them in order to be successful and create a very engaging workforce, empowering that team. Now, when we specifically talk about trends in human capital management, what we need to recognize is that organizations today are facing major disruptions in their business and, more importantly, in their workforce. If we look at some specific information, every business in every industry is being disrupted. The workforce itself is also undergoing radical changes with the need to manage more generations than ever, from millennials to baby boomers in every region of the world, with increasing worker expectations. So you'll see here in front of you some of the market pressures that are driving organizations and these disruptions that they're seeing. There's massive business disruptions happening. There's changing workforce demographics, worker impact on the company branding itself, worker expectations of the company itself, and most importantly, availability of talent required for an organization to succeed. And this is forcing organizations to address and respond to some key business issues of managing those changing workforce demographics, developing leaders within the organization, and creating a culture and engagement with those different demographics out there. Also has organizations addressing the business issues around new organizational models and driving productivity from the workforce and how best to get that productivity out there. So we address those areas with common focus around people related information and how we attract individuals, how we retain them, how we develop them internally, and of course, how we engage with them. Looking organizationally at how we design our organization model and driving that productivity that we have out there. Now, some of the key drivers with this multi-generational workforce that we look at and the disruption that is happening for organization is there are 5 generations in the workforce working side by side today. That culture and engagement needs, as an organization, we need to identify that that has to be tied to our bottom line. And our workforce is aging as well. And we as an organization need to be prepared for that and how we fill any gaps that are created for that, which ultimately costs an investment in training as an organization, having the appropriate learning opportunities across all demographics within our organization, and that multi-generational workforce that we're engaging with. Now, when we think about that multi-generational workforce here, some of the key generations that we see within our environment today are our millennials, also known as Generation Y, which, knowing that years can be a little bit varying on this, are typically born between the year 1977 and 1995. And prior to that, we have our Gen X generation, born between 1965 and 1976 within there. And of course, our baby boomers, which were born between 1946 and 1964. Now, you remember that I said within this multi-generational environment, there are actually 5 generations working together out there. So there is also an older generation known as the traditionalists or the silent generation, born before 1945 and earlier, and our youngest generation, which is just now entering the workforce, known as Gen Z, Centennials, or also the Wi-Fi generation, born in 1996 or later, with some of those oldest individuals now being around 22, 23 related within that. But what we have to understand with these generations is they all have different aspects of what they consider job satisfaction or how they like organizations to engage with them. And you can see some of those examples as far as when surveyed, what some of those highest priorities are and how they shift. But there are trends that stay common within that, meaning that respectful treatment of all employees at all levels is always number one to those individuals. But then we can see how compensation and benefits and trust and opportunities start to fluctuate as we look at these different generations. All again driving to how we engage with them, the opportunities that we provide to them, and the solutions that we use to manage and engage with them as well. Now, when we think about the key topic of hiring and retention within organizations and the key drivers behind that, what we need to identify as an organization is that the changing workforce demographics amongst these 5 generations create skill gaps and put pressures on employers themselves to source top talent. As we have an exiting workforce with our baby boomers and an entering workforce with our newest generation, the centennials, we have have to identify who is that top talent and how we fill any gaps within that. Looking at some of the statistics around that and why this is so important for them, if we look at a Bureau of Labor statistics, baby boomers on average would stay with an organization or have a tenure with an organization of about 10.4 years, whereas millennials within the industry today on average stay with an organization about 2.8 years. So we can see that the changes within our demographics there, they're always looking for new opportunities, new learning, new avenues that they can grow with organizations and how they engage as well. We also, when thinking about that hiring intention key drivers, need to look at our retirement. And again, those boomers who are that exiting workforce, that leads to what we call a brain drain of employees with the most tenure, the most knowledge, the most experience with an organization. So we think about those boomers and even the older generation of traditionalists, we think about the knowledge and information that they're taking with them and how we transfer that knowledge and skills to our millennials, our Generation X, and even our Gen Z or Centennials who are entering. We need to concentrate on how we develop that next generation of leaders within our organization. And then thinking about hiring retention key drivers, the last area that we need to consider as an organization are the values. Again, every organization has different levels of what they consider job satisfaction and what's very valuable to them as being part of an organization and its journey. 84% of millennials actually prioritize making a positive impact on the world over professional recognition, whereas our baby boomers within the industry or within our workforce today tend to be more motivated by professional recognition. So again, understanding those different trends and the solutions and engagements required to engage with these individuals as they require, keeping them very productive, very happy, and on a track of development with the organization is very key and important. Now, on top of all of those trends that we're looking at with our multiple generations, the other things that employers and organizations constantly have to worry about is walking that high wire or that tightrope of all of the different regulations that we have to stay in compliance with as well. Whether those are federal, those are state, those are local or municipal, whether they're around leave or benefits or Department of Labor related information, or just generally our tax compliances that we have out there. There's constant change happening within the industry that we need to stay on top of. So not only the complexities of how we engage with our workforce, but how we stay compliant with the rules coming from the government entities and authorities as well. And solutions that we're going to talk about today and how we do that is very key and important to assisting organizations with this. Also knowing and understanding that if we're wanting to look at the setting of the stage for any change that is happening within those labor laws or those rules and authorities out there, we can look at California as kind of a leading trendsetter for a lot of that. California, Oregon, and many other states are very engaged with the workforce and managing that and putting a lot of these new regulations in place. So when thinking about that from a hiring and a retention and a key drivers behind that, what do leaders within an organization need to care about? We need to think about, as an organization, increasing our employee engagement, how we make information available to our workforce, how we make ourselves accessible to our workforce, and what's very important for them and the different generations that we're working with. Positively impacting the employee experience, moving ourselves out of paper-driven email, phone calls, those type of environments which are time consuming for not only the organization itself, but the employee themselves and the experience that they get within there. So positively thinking about that employee experience and how we're impacting that experience as an organization. Addressing people within our organization as a competitive differentiator by using smart strategies. And what we mean by this and why this is so important for us is an organization itself does not produce products, does not provide services. It is the people within the organization that are providing those products and services and are the true competitive differentiator for the organization itself. So the higher engaged, the higher productive employee and workforce that we can have is a huge differentiator for us. Attracting and retaining that key talent. Again, we have that exiting workforce and an entering workforce coming in there. And we need to think about how we retain those key individuals and knowledge out there, but more importantly, how we grow other individuals and fill any knowledge gaps that may be coming down the road. And most importantly, on top of that is leveraging emerging technologies to address the evolving workforce needs. Again, thinking about those different roles that we have of full-time, part-time, seasonal, temporary, or even contracting related individuals. They have evolving requirements of how they want to engage and what's important to them. And we need to think about emerging technologies to help address that. So when we think about managing the story, it all starts with engaged employees. Again, in order to be a great business, you need to create and manage a very engaged workforce. But there are a lot of things we need to manage in order to create that very engaged workforce. These are things like performance, benefits, compensation, skills and training, even schedules are examples of those things that are very important for those individuals. All of this while giving those individuals the tools to access their information, manage their preferences and personal information, or even easily enroll in benefits itself. It's important to get these things right to keep your employees engaged and drive feedback like you're seeing here in front of you. We want that feedback from our team members that now I can easily access all my information in one place. Open enrollment was almost too easy for me to complete. I sleep much better knowing my data is very secure. And employee referrals, bragging and boasting on working for the organization itself are way up. Now, it's hard to drive feedback like that and engagement like that from our team members if our data and processes are extremely disjointed within the organization. You lack information you need to make good business decisions and true visibility into what is actually happening with your workforce. Your processes are both time consuming and error prone, such as double entry of data, multiple employee records, lack of true integrated data, resulting in cobbled together reports manually while using this information from different systems. It's important for an employee's information to seamlessly flow from the time they apply for a job at your company through the hiring and even onboarding process. And having real-time data is critical for all of your reporting requirements. So we want to eliminate these disjointed processes and data so we can avoid things like paper-based onboarding, inconsistent policy applications, too many manual adjustments of information, actually double data entry of a lot of that. All of our manual reporting are multiple platforms that we work with, and not being able to see the true trends and single source of truth of all of our related information. Now, with all the challenges of attracting and retaining that quality talent today, human resource professionals need an integrated set of tools for managing and nurturing their organization's most valuable advantage, that is their people. And we need to be able to manage that from pre-hire to retirement. So workforce solutions that we are utilizing need to be purpose-built for our organization. Now, while most solutions today have pieced together HR, payroll, talent, and workforce management components to create the illusion of one solution, organizations need a common platform for the end-to-end management of recruiting, onboarding, core HR, training and development, benefits, performance management, compensation, succession, time and attendance, scheduling, and all the labor activities, as well as absent management, payroll, and all the analytics that go around that. These solutions need to embrace your entire workforce. Again, those full-time, part-time, seasonal, temporary individuals, all the diversity we have where there is no employee left behind, delivering an end-to-end employee lifecycle management. Solutions that we engage with our workforce also need to be built on a secure, unified platform. Leading solutions are natively developed on single platforms. Common solutions that we see in the market often offer a frequently cobbled together through the combination of legacy code, acquisitions, and partnerships, a thinly veiled single user interface. The result of this is a higher risk of your integration breakdowns and a user experience that actually changes as they switch amongst different applications. With leading platforms, you get a single employee record from which all applications in the product suite pull information together. Rather than entering data multiple times across different applications, entering your employees' data once and the system automatically populates all the applications within the suite, reducing data entry errors and ensuring up-to-date information throughout all your apps. The single employee record on a unified platform reduces your your reporting complexities by using common reporting engines across all of the different applications. You draw from one single source of truth instead of trying to combine multiple sources of employee information. And the data is updated real time in a unified environment. So you're making decisions based on accurate information versus legacy latent data that can easily lead to the wrong conclusions. And very importantly, on a unified or single platform, this means a single user experience for the workforce across all the applications, which helps minimize user training and boost efficiency. Even security profiles can be customized by users with varying levels of data access privileges based on permissions that you specify and then are applied once for all of the data sources. Also, very importantly for a solution and offerings out there is to help you drive better business outcomes. With a complete solution to address the entire workforce from pre-hire to retire, all on a single platform, you have the tools and information you need to make better decisions that are ultimately delivering better outcomes for your organization. You can attract and retain top talent, effectively manage and engage them through the employee lifecycle, all while at the same time controlling your costs within the organization itself. So with Workforce Go, we actually present for organizations the Workforce Go HCM solution. This is an entire human capital management suite that engages with organizations to attract and retain talent, engage the workforce, and manage the entire employee lifecycle from pre-hire all the way to retirement. Now you will see here in front of you that Workforce Go HCM is a full suite managing recruiting, onboarding, human resources, benefits administration, performance and compensation management, time and attendance and scheduling, as well as leave management, and of course payroll and tax management with well. But uniquely doing this all on one single unified platform for the entire workforce itself. Now, why our solution is a leading solution within the industry, unlike those other solutions that we've talked about, is that unified platform. So whether we're talking recruiting, HR, timekeeping, scheduling, payroll, or much, much more, this is one single employee record, one single login access to all of the solution capabilities, and a common user experience, database, workflow, reporting, and security. So one single database, one single employee record, one single solution, not disparate solutions working together in the background with a common user veil over the front of it. This truly presents that single version of truth for your organization, a single source access to all of your employee related data. It helps eliminate those error-prone duplicate data entries, data inconsistency, and most importantly, a risk of non-compliance. Also vastly reduces those reporting complexities because of the single employee record, the single database, the single unified platform. We can pull all information together within a unified reporting engine, which allows you to view that key data in real time with configurable dashboards. Ultimately help raising and escalate the organization to a very engaged workforce, streamlining your administration, simplifying your compliance so you can focus on your people and not your processes. This helps address the needs of the entire workforce, again, those different diversified groups and generations that we see, enforcing policies accurately and consistency, and empowering those individuals themselves with self-service tools. With Workforce Go HCM, we allow organizations to work your way. Our solution provides a very responsive design that empowers people to get things done in as few steps as possible, whether that's applying for jobs, enrolling in benefits, managing their time, or just checking their pay-related information, and much, much more, all from any place and any device. Workforce Go HCM really allows to take the guesswork out of your HR and payroll processes, helping your employees work very inspired with their information. Workforce Go HCM also engages with organizations to work smarter with their information. We provide an intuitive user experience that facilitates smart decision making through easy access to data visualization. This also presents quick routes to very common actions that need to be performed and predictive analytics so that you can proactively see and address trends that are happening within your workforce rather than being reactive to those scenarios. The results of this visibility and this real-time information is you can now spend time engaging with your teams and being very strategic within the organization instead of just those administrative tasks that are needing to happen. Again, looking at our workforce as a competitive differentiator between ourselves and other organizations. And finally, with Workforce Go HCM, we also allow organizations to work in a modern cloud. This provides a great HCM experience that are unified for all organizations. They give organizations access to the complete picture of the workforce from pre-hire to retire, all on one single unified cloud platform that enables the level of experience, providing a single, flexible, trusted source of all of your data, ultimately providing that trusted infrastructure and automation that lets you focus on what really matters, your people and your business goals. Now, as we start to look at Workforce Go HCM and talk about the different areas out there, we can talk about that life cycle of an individual from pre-hire to retirement. So with Workforce Go, we're going to offer those talent acquisition capabilities and engagement for you. We're going to automate that recruiting process to eliminate paper, streamline your administration, and drive efficiency within those processes itself. You can create job requisitions with automated approval workflows and gain at a glance visibility into the applicant's status. You can proactively source your candidates with Workforce Go HCM by posting your job listings to your career website and even 8,000 plus free job boards, or even by leveraging premium job board integration with Indeed, ZipRecruiter, CareerBuilder.com. This all allows you to focus on your best fit candidates, asking pre-hire screening questions in an online application, leveraging data about your existing workforce to make better hiring decisions. Also delivering that great applicant experience from the very beginning of their experience with your organization. This really enforces your employer brand while making it easy to search for jobs, upload resumes, and apply online. And also optimizing the pre-hire engagement, sending out automated notifications, configurable emails, keeping them up to date and engaged with your process, and really maximizing your hiring budget, working with things like the work opportunity tax credit and finding eligible applicants, submitting claims automatically, all available to help streamline that information there. Now, once we have those candidates on, we'll also need to work with them through our regular people management, which is also known as human resources. With Workforce Go HCM, organizations can do away with multiple and disparate sources of information. As professionals, you can have one system, one source for all employee related information. Whether that's our onboarding and streamlining that, removing that paper process and really engaging them efficiently on there. Performing that benefit administration and management, allowing them to view real time all the details that are important to them about your benefit offerings, engage, enroll, and make elections into that, staying up to date with those details and communicating that information wherever it needs to go. Being able to manage the various positions within an organization. What do we currently have filled? What are our needs and where do we need to grow? Where are our gaps in our opening and how do we fill those? And of course, just regular personnel administration, all of the details and information we need on those individuals and their own self-service tools to engage with that as well. Now, thinking about not only gathering those individuals and finding that great talent, but maintaining that great talent within that organization, and most importantly, growing that great talent within the organization, gets into that performance management area. Being able to align the organization by defining things like your cascading goals and tracking performance at the corporate, group, and individual levels. Increasing the engagement and retention by enabling managers to continuously monitor employee goals and deliver ongoing feedback. Saving time and streamlining processes with online review forms and automated workflows that support a paperless HR environment. And of course, supporting that employee development by tracking skills and certifications with reports that show who needs training and when, as well as engaging them not only in development, but planning for succession and direct employee engagement by consulting on evaluations, creating career paths and talent profiles, identifying critical positions and the pools available for them, calculating your bench strength, and building readiness planning within your organization. All of this while being able to link all of this great information to performance. You can have metrics that establish guidelines on how you award pay for performance and pay grade segments and how we keep that equal amongst our workforce there. Now, on a day in and day out basis within an organization, not only do we need to engage with our workforce around their personal information, their growth and performance, finding, attracting, and retaining them, but just managing their day in and day out information as well. And this really gets into the time and labor management side that Workforce Go HCM truly helps organizations with. With Workforce Go HCM, individuals have multiple data collections and self-service options about how they engage with that and the rules, policies that we enforce on those as well. Whether these are just web-related time collections, web punches, web timesheets, whether these are mobile-related time collections and we want to GPS track and fence what those capabilities are, or if they're physical hard clock device collections that we need as well. All of this time and attendance and labor management, our pay rules around that, and how we collect that information can all be managed within Workforce Go HCM. Not only managing the collection of that, but the real-time calculations behind that to help you maintain compliance and payroll accuracy, as well as manage any exceptions very timely and efficiently. You'll also see, along with that time management, you'll want to manage your accruals within there as well. And these are your paid time off management. So tracking those balances, this eligibility, how those balances are updated, whether it's based on tenure, hours worked, if there's carryover allowed, all the different rules and policies around that. Also, with Workforce Go HCM, whether you are using our payroll or not, or interfacing to another payroll system, our timekeeping is going to ensure that you have the correctly calculated information so that the right check is cut and payment is issued for those individuals on the first time there. We also engage with a lot of organizations around managing the scheduling of their workforce as well. Workforce scheduling can be complex, time-consuming, and downright frustrating tasks for many organizations. You need to match up an employee's availability, preferences, seniority, pay rates, skills, and certifications with fluctuating business demands to maximize productivity, engagement, and profits. By trying to schedule a diverse workforce using spreadsheets and semi-automated systems too often results in overstaffed shifts, shorthand rushes, excessive overtime, employee disengagement, and even compliance issues. How can you schedule the person with the right skills in the right place at the right time without overspending your budget or burning out your employees? With Workforce Go HCM Schedule, as part of our unified human capital management suite, we can automatically generate those best fit schedules based on your organization's unique requirements to help you control labor costs, minimize compliant risk, improve that productivity, and drive employee engagement. Easy to use tools and automated workflows within Workforce Go HCM simplify the creation of best practice schedules that align with staffing with your budget and demand. Automatic enforcement of schedule rules and policies helps avoid employee grievances, litigation, and files. And real-time visibility into accurate employee data, labor costs, and demand enables your managers to make intelligent staffing decisions on the fly, while employee self-service options let those individuals request things like shift swaps, coverages, open shifts, all without adding a load of administrative overhead. With Workforce Go HCM, managers and supervisors can finally spend less time building and managing schedules and more time focusing on strategic priorities that drive better business outcomes. Now, very importantly, and not to be overshadowed by all that time and labor management, as well as that scheduling management, is our leave management as well. Tracking what employees are legally entitled to can be difficult for organizations. Just as a little bit of information behind that, the Society for Human Resources, also known as SHRM, came out with a statistic in December. Specifically in the U.S., unplanned absences add workload, increase stress, and disrupt others and hurt employee morale more than 48% of the time on the low end, and on the high end up to 69% of the time. Employees and individuals within an organization may be required to take extended time away from rework for a variety of reasons, including illness, disability, bereavement, military and jury duty, maternity and paternity leave, and even child or elderly care and labor disputes. Monitoring all of these different types of items takes a lot of time. Just as some additional information there, HR managers actually spend 1.9 hours per week on absence tasks alone. And if you have line managers or other roles, they can spend up to 1.7 hours per week on any absent related tasks and activities. Organizations themselves, when surveyed, actually estimate the loss in productivity due to unplanned absences at 11% annually. So a lot of effort, a lot of cause and effect behind this. So trying to manage this compliance with federal laws like FMLA and other state mandated laws can be very difficult for an organization. With the Workforce Go HCM Leave Manager, we automatically track all of those leave policies with employee self-service leave requests, approval workflows, including your eligibility qualifiers, all to ensure that an employee is eligible for leave and has gotten the appropriate approvals and eligibility notifications. Also along those lines of compliance is our Affordable Care Act Manager. This is a complete closed loop process, bringing everything in from the time, payroll, and benefit related information that is required to truly manage the compliance behind the Affordable Care Act. This is real-time status and visibility and monitoring, eligibility notification and compliance alerts, automating benefits enrollment and COBRA reporting, and all of the IRS reporting at year end, which are your 1094 and 1095-C documents as well. And finally, within the solution and very key aspects in there is the payroll management. Now, what's very unique about Workforce Go HCM is we offer both spectrums of payroll management for organizations. Whether that is a full service payroll offering that you're looking for, where the organization is responsible, meaning Workforce Go is responsible for your check distribution, your direct deposit management, as well as all of your tax management services, or that is the opposite end, being an in-house payroll management, where you yourself want to have controls over your check printing and distribution, your direct deposit distribution, but still having the security and safety of those tax filing services and ensuring you're staying in compliance with that. So this manages everything for those gross to net calculations. To maintain the highest level of quality here at Workforce Go, our updates for payroll are actually done on a monthly basis, unlike other solutions which may be done quarterly. Organizations are less vulnerable to the impact of regulatory changes that could otherwise render any solution you're using obsolete. So we accommodate those changes in tax and payroll laws very frequently, keeping you up to date with all of that information there. Finally, just wrapping up the Workforce Go HCM side, and a lot of the power and flexibility that we bring to the table for that engagement of your workforce, for managing those different levels of engagement driven by a multi-generational environment. We also want to provide that overview into all of those details as well. So streamlining and providing that automation is very key and important, but that visibility, and more important, that real-time dashboard visibility is very important. So we can see very quickly the information that is important to us at a glance and be able to drill down into those various details that we need there. So very important overviews of what's important for us and having that information at our fingertips. So Workforce Go HCM provides, again, that full human capital management suite from pre-hire all the way to retirement, allowing organizations to attract and retain that talent, engage your workforce, and manage the entire employee lifecycle from pre-hire to retirement, all while being on one single unified platform. The various components or applications that you see in here are not separate applications, not separate databases. They're all working together within one single employee record, one single database, to really help an organization streamline what's truly important for them and grow with them as their organization grows. Also to note for you, these various areas of Workforce Go HCM that we have discussed, it is not an all or nothing type of solution. So it does allow organizations to pick and choose from these various applications on what's important for them today and other areas they'd want to grow into the future. Whether that's payroll only today, payroll and time management, time only, or even adding the human resource aspects or applications to that as well. Being able again to address what's important today and grow into other areas in the future. And finally, before we move into any questions, what's very key and unique about Workforce Go HCM within the industry is we are one of the only human capital management providers that brings integration with finance to the table for organizations as well, and true integrations. Whether that is you are on a current Sage ERP or financial solution, you can see here we do have those delivered integrations with that there as well. Or if you're looking at other financial solutions such as Acumatica, we do have those real-time bi-directional integrations developed and delivered with our solution, not only to bring that single unified platform for payroll, people, and time together, but bringing finance into that unified platform and real-time visibility into those very key and important details there. So I'd like to thank everyone for their time and allowing me to go through the details and information there. Hopefully that was very key and beneficial on the key trends that are happening within the industry today, how organizations can address those trends, and what's very important about solutions to help address those trends as well. And most importantly, how Workforce Go HCM helps organizations address those trends. So I'm not sure if I'm monitoring the question box, if we have any questions out there that I can be helpful in addressing.
Thanks, Chris. That was so great. Let me give everyone some time to answer questions. So as we mentioned in my introduction, if anyone has questions, now is a really great time to ask because we have a subject matter expert with us right now. And I don't see any coming in. So if questions do come up after the fact, feel free to reach out to your account manager at SWK or reply to the email that we will be sending out to you tomorrow with the recording. Reply to it and answer and send the email to the marketing team, and we will make sure that your question gets directed to the right person. All right, Chris, I don't see anything coming in, but thank you so much for presenting. Always a pleasure to have you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the time, and thank you everyone else.
Thank you.